let's step back to a regular day in the peaceful town of San Isidro, Argentina. On January 13, 2006, something surprising happened that confused the whole nation. A typical bank robbery, but with an unexpected twist that left everyone scratching their heads. At 12:38 in the afternoon, a call went out to the police, setting off a wave of events. Officers raced through the city, arriving at Banco Rio, one of Argentina's largest financial institutions. And then at 3:30 in the afternoon, a bizarre request. They asked for pizzas, an odd demand. What happened next would leave the nation in suspense for hours, as police and city officials grappled with the disappearance of the robbers. Stay tuned as we unravel the mystery of the largest bank heist in the history of Argentina. Meet the mastermind, Fernando Arroyo, his nickname The Artist. Taking a break from his artistic pursuits, he crafted the daring plan to rob Banco Rio, assembling the dream team that brought his vision to life. Sebastian Garcia Bosta, known as the engineer, meticulously measured the drain tunnel to the bank safe. As childhood friends, he and Fernando laid the groundwork, later recruiting additional minds when funds ran low. Luis Mario Vitet, the negotiator, a skilled negotiator and leader of the Spider-Man gang. Fleeing from Uruguay, he added a unique edge to the heist, playing a pivotal role in the vanishing act inside Banco Rio. And finally, Alberto Beto de la Torre. Together, these individuals formed a dynamic team, each contributing a crucial element to the audacious heist. Stay tuned as we unravel their roles in the mysterious vanishing act that left an entire nation in disbelief. As the assembled police force closed in on the bank, a tense standoff unfolded. One of the thieves, catching a glimpse of the surrounding officers, released his hostage and sprinted back inside, sealing the fate of the 5 thieves and their 23 captives. The bank became a battleground, with the thieves wearing various masks strapped alongside their hostages. Outside, the streets swarmed with police, establishing radio contact with one of the robbers, self-named Walter. The tension soared as Walter warned the police to stay back, referring to the infamous Remelo incident, a dark chapter in Argentina's history involving hostages and deadly gunfire. For over 6 hours, the nation was transfixed by the unfolding drama. Walter, his nickname was the Man in the Grey Suit, became an instant celebrity. Then at 3:30 in the afternoon, a peculiar request for pizzas added a bizarre twist to the heist. Moments later, Walter fell silent, leaving police leaders and officials in a dilemma. Desperate attempts to reach him failed, prompting the deployment of a special forces team at 7 p.m. However, what unfolded next defied expectations. No shootout, no commotion, the thieves had vanished, leaving the hostages unharmed, but dispersed across 3 floors. Detectives exploring the basement uncovered the true motive behind the heist. In the bank's subterranean level, hundreds of reinforced steel safe deposit boxes lined the walls, containing the fortunes of San Isidro's elite. The thieves had meticulously cracked open 143 of the 400 boxes, leaving detectives bewildered about what they had taken and where they had gone. Despite sweeping every inch of the bank, not a single member of the gang was found. The robbers had left behind a few clues: battery packs, tools, toy guns arranged neatly on the floor, and a taunting note on the wall. The so-called robbery of the century, a modern-day Robin Hood saga, immortalized the crew of colorful thieves who aspired to become rich but emerged as unlikely folk heroes. And at the center of it all was the visionary Fernando Arroyo, a free spirit and an artist, approached his friend Sebastian Garcia Bosta with a seemingly crazy idea. Inspired by the memory of the botched Remelo heist, Arroyo envisioned a wild plan to rob a bank and then vanish through a hall, a concept that Bosta initially dismissed as a joke. When Fernando returned to Bosta in 2004, he brought more than just dreams. He declared seeking Bosta's technical expertise for his audacious plan. Bosta, disinterested in crime but driven by a distaste for banks, had one condition: no violence, no weapons. With that promise, he was in. Arroyo's intricate plan involved using the vast storm tunnels beneath the Buenos Aires suburbs. He envisioned arriving and exiting through a tunnel, avoiding the traditional risks of a bank heist. But a significant obstacle loomed, disabling the alarm systems during workday when the bank was not empty. Fernando's solution was ingenious: create a diversion with a phony bank robbery, a smash and grab that would capture the nation's attention. While the country was fixated on the staged robbery, Arroyo would quietly drain the safe deposit boxes in the basement. The groundwork was laid, the plan set in motion. Little did they know that this audacious heist would not only become a legendary tale, but also mark the beginning of a captivating journey into the unknown. With Buster as his engineer and a dream team of thieves assembled, Arroyo embarked on the audacious Banco Rio heist. The crew included a veteran bank robber Doc and his associate Ruben Alberto de la Torre, known as Beto. Both were former members of the notorious Super Banda, wreaking havoc in Argentina during the 80s and 90s. Though Doc and Beto had mellowed over the years, their violent history made Buster uneasy for the critical task of carving the tunnel. Buster chose solitude, making it easier to view the operation as an engineering challenge rather than a major criminal scheme. Buster spent months working in the city's storm drains at night, chiseling away the earth beneath the street to inch closer to the bank. His nocturnal absences went unnoticed by his wife, who assumed he had a secret affair. Complications arose, including determining the proper tunnel angle. Buster solved this mathematically, ensuring precision to avoid an unintended entrance into someone's basement. Arroyo's meticulous planning included obtaining measurements from the street to the canal floor and the horizontal distance to the bank's exterior wall, while Arroyo estimated the potential loot at $60 million. Financing the operation became a challenge. Selling his car, Arroyo invested $5,000, but costs escalated. Enter Luis Mario Vitet Silence, a renowned Uruguayan thief with money, style, and expertise. Vitet, a former Spider-Man of Buenos Aires, invested $100,000 and became an invaluable problem solver. Buster faced the challenge of cracking safe deposit boxes efficiently. His ingenious solution was the power cannon, a transportable jackhammer designed to punch through locks quietly. To extract the loot, Buster planned to use inflatable Zodiac boats to overcome the shallow water levels in the storm canal. He designed a dam to raise the water depth. Fernando envisioned potential problems, especially if the police discovered their escape through the tunnels. To gain an advantage, the plan was to flee deeper into the dark canals rather than toward the river terminus. By doing so, they could emerge anywhere in town, leaving the police force occupied with a tense hostage situation miles away. As the elaborate plan unfolded, Arroyo and his team stood on the brink of executing a heist that would go down in history. Little did they know, the following events would surpass their wildest expectations, turning them into both outlaws and folk heroes. On the day of the daring heist, the 7 men carried out their morning routines, preparing for the roles they would play in this audacious play. Some met at the bar for coffee, applying glue to their fingertips in hopes of leaving no prints. 3 vehicles, including stolen cars, headed towards the bank. The getaway van, driven by Julian Zalocheveria, awaited at the pickup spot. Meanwhile, Buster, working alone as usual, drove to Peru Beach and entered the tunnel around 7 in the morning. Beto, disguised as a doctor, and Doc, wearing a ski mask, entered the bank first. Beto brandished a toy gun borrowed from his 9-year-old son, ordering everyone to the floor and announcing the robbery in progress. Simultaneously, Vitet and the mysterious 7th member known as Luis the Uruguayan drove a stolen car into a garage beneath the bank, carrying the power cannon and tools. They barricaded the garage door, joining the staged chaos upstairs. Arroyo, the mastermind, stayed outside in a stolen car, parked alongside the bank with flashers on to mimic the getaway car. The back seat was filled with nail strips and oil cans, anticipating the pursuit after the robbery. As Fernando entered the bank in disguise, a baseball cap, ski mask, long blonde wig, and sunglasses, Beto, unaware of his identity, immediately pointed a toy gun at him. A hushed revelation followed, and each man had a specific task assigned by Arroyo. Vitet handled the police, Luis and Beto subdued hostages, and Doc headed to the cleaning room. Balsta, patiently waiting at the tunnel terminus, separated by a thin wall from the basement, received the signal from Doc. With a careful break in the wall, the engineer was unleashed into the bank, marking the beginning of the meticulously orchestrated heist. The stage was set for a performance that would captivate the nation and baffle authorities. Upstairs, the gang executed their plan, systemically emptying drawers and creating a facade of chaos. Vitet, now in his role as Walter the Negotiator, assumed a lead position, adorned in a tailored gray suit, a fake mustache, and a yarmulke. His charm was crucial in buying time for the crew in the basement, making the police believe they were dealing with a botched robbery. Vitet, as planned, released the bank's armed guard, presenting it as a gesture of goodwill and the proof of their benevolence. This strategic move aimed to maintain a non-violent atmosphere within the bank. Arroyo's psychological strategy involved releasing hostages in stages, creating an illusion of progress to lure the police into a false sense of control. Arroyo's directive was clear: make the police believe the gang was nervous, stupid, and losing control. This orchestrated image was intended to generate sympathy from the public. Vitet, glamorized as the man in the gray suit, played a pivotal role in the negotiations, falsely claiming the gang was armed and ready to shoot their way out. When Fernando signaled, Vitet instructed the police negotiator to order 6 pizzas. Then, putting down his radio, he informed the hostages that the gang needed a brief meeting. The stakes were high. Anyone who dared to move would face dire consequences. In the basement, Bosta worked swiftly, racing against the 2-hour window Arroyo had set. The moment Doc broke through the wall to let Bolster in, the stopwatch started. Within 20 minutes, Bolster assembled the power cannon, skillfully opening safe deposit boxes for the next 90 minutes. The loot piled up around him. As things settled upstairs, Arroyo and Doc joined Bolster, stuffing the haul into bags, aware that time was of the essence. Bolster efficiently disassembled the tool, passed it to Luis the Uruguayan in the tunnel, and cleaned the room. Soon he assembled fake bombs, creating a diversion for their exit. Arroyo and Doc, remaining in the basement, sprayed bleach and scattered barbershop hair to eliminate traces of DNA. They meticulously cleaned the room where Bolster entered, concealing any sign of the wall breach. A heavy cabinet was placed in front of the hall, disguising the escape route. The gang of 5 boarded the Zodiac, attaching a line to the trailing raft laden with bags and Arroyo. Despite the glitch with the engine, Arroyo distributed paddles and they set off, heading to the passage where they would ditch the boats and climb into an elevated side channel leading to the getaway van. About 10 blocks away, they reached the passage, leaving the Zodiacs behind. Climbing a ladder into the side channel, they took turns hoisting bags using a pulley system Bolster had installed. Once everyone was up, Bolster pulled up the ladder, leaving no trace of their escape route. The abandoned Zodiacs floated off, disappearing into the dark canal. The elaborate escape unfolded seamlessly, leaving authorities and the public mystified. The Banco Rio heist had all the elements of a carefully orchestrated magic trick, with the thieves vanishing into the shadows. Despite national embarrassment for the Argentine police captured on live TV, news reports revealed that this elusive gang successfully escaped with almost $20 million in cash and valuables. The authorities were left with no leads, their pursuit diluted by the clever tactics of the thieves. The legend of the Banco Rio heist continued to grow, immortalizing a daring crew that outmastered the forces meant to capture them. 5 weeks post-heist, Beto de la Torre's world collapsed during a drive with his girlfriend. Pulled over by the police, he sensed the end. His then-wife, Alicia D'Aitolio, fueled by apparent resentment over his infidelity, allegedly exposed his involvement in the heist. setting off a chain of events leading to the gang's unraveling. Alicia's role in the unfolding drama remains shrouded in mystery. Beto claimed that she discovered the loot, triggering a dispute that ultimately led to the tip-off. Her revelations provided crucial information that put Arroyo, Buster, Vite Zalocheveria, and herself on the police radar. But Doc and Luis remained in obscurity. Despite the bitterness of capture, a hint of satisfaction emerges. The heist's capture paved the way for books, movies, and even a major film, granting the gang a kind of recognition they might not have achieved otherwise. The final mystery lingers. Where is the rest of the stolen fortune? Beto, rubbing his head, hints at the impact of his arrest on his memory. As he struggles to recall, the whereabouts of the majority of the stolen loot remain a mystery, an enigma that adds another layer to the legend of the robbery of the century. And so, the tale of the Banco Rio heist concludes, a captivating saga of cleverness, audacity, and the artistry of crime. As the characters each found their paths diverging after the infamous robbery, their lives unfolded in unexpected ways, from Arroyo's meticulous planning to Buster's engineering marvels, from Vitet's theatrical negotiations to Zalocheveria's patient wait in the getaway van. Every moment of this extraordinary caper left an indelible mark on Argentine history. If you enjoyed this gripping journey into the world of high-stakes crime, don't forget to like and subscribe for more captivating stories. Until next time, stay curious, stay entertained, and stay tuned for more tales.